All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TLAD show, the loudest African debate. Today is October the 3rd, and hopefully everybody on the continent, as well as the diaspora, are doing well. And most importantly, are in good health. So I have a special guest with us, and this brother I've known for a while. I've heard a lot of his um, actual lectures and presentations, and he is phenomenal. He's a nutritionalist. I mean, he'll be able to explain who he actually is. But as far as I know, he's a nutritionalist, and he teaches our community on how to stay healthy, since a lot of our diet and a lot of what we're doing is actually killing ourselves, and we're depriving ourselves of valuable time, which actually builds continuity within our communities. So basically what we're doing is we're eating ourselves to death, in a sense. We're not eating the right food, or we're not taking care of ourselves. But this brother knows. This brother knows. Phil Washington knows. And today we're going to get a big dose of what he deems as the correct things that we should be doing as a people to stay healthy. So I call him the village doctor. Phil, Mr. Phil Washington, are you ready to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm right
All right,
here.
go ahead.
Well, my name is Phil Washington, and you know what? I looked up the term doctor because doctor is a teacher, and before the system got a hold of the term doctor and decided to give it a lot of education and give it this great backing, what doctor really stems from and the word stem from is teacher. So as a brother that's in the community, I've worked in healthcare for over 30 years. Um, I became a health coach. I've done nutritionist certifications. And one thing that I noticed, and I became very curious because I worked in GI before, which is gastroenterology, internal medicine. I was an administrator, and I became the 007 of the healthcare industry. I worked for a big healthcare industry here in the United States, and I noticed that over the years that we wasn't getting no better, and I started paying attention. And from that, I took classes and built up a wealth of knowledge, and more importantly, wanted to find a very, very articulate way or a user-friendly way to explain things and dummy it down in such a way that we really begin to pay attention and realize that in this system called allopathic medicine, that the answers that are not there for us. What we have done as a black people, we have basically taken away years and years of ancestry when it comes to health, and we are depending on one piece of the pie, which is allopathic medicine. So, brother, it's been my passion to help people. Not only I've been on the clinical side, I've been on the cancer side, and the problems that we're having, they're fixable, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right, exactly. Well, is there any way you can go into it right now? Go into like what we should be doing, what we should be eating, how we should be navigating this coronavirus or COVID or whatever you want to call it. You can go in. You can begin.
All right, well, you know what? Let's just start by some basic things when
Okay.
it comes towards blacks really, really managing their health. Because as you know, I have T-shirts and managing my health
Hmm.
LLC is the company that I have created, and managing your health is your responsibility. So if it's your responsibilities, what are some of the markers you want to begin to look at in order to stay healthy? Well,
Hmm.
let's talk about this pandemic, for example, because we are very, very we're getting the tail end of the stick when it comes to this pandemic. Black people are, but make no qualms and make no mistakes. America has had problems with the pandemic because all we have done in the USA for the last 140 years, we have practiced in medicine and we
Hmm.
have practiced surgery. And when you're in a place that's all you practice and you don't practice health and wellness, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be the end result. People are going to get sick. Now, the virus is real. We're not going to say that it's not, but it's contingent upon the immune system. I've been in healthcare long enough to know and truly understand that viruses, people, are contingent upon your immune system. Your immune systems is a group of systems. It's your lymphatic system, it's your digestive system, it's these cellular function systems that come together that is fed by nutrition. So, what are
Mm.
some of the things that we have to do during this pandemic in order to build our immune system? Because God gave us an innate immune system to fight anything. You don't have to die. You're going to catch it. A virus, just like the flu or a cold, you're going to catch it. But the thing
Mm.
is how you manage it and how well your body responds. That if it does take you off your feet for a couple of days, that's all you want. These things should not result into death. And
Right.
unfortunately are. But here's some tips, brother, that will help us with this pandemic and building our immune system. First, we need to get zinc. And by the way, when I mention minerals, remember the body is so smart; it made itself a one single cell, and it can cure itself. All it needs is the nutritional value. What we have not focused on in this country is the 90 essential minerals. With the 90 essential minerals, your body can cure itself from anything. And believe it or not, the food is depleted. So you almost in today's society has to supplement. When I say supplement, you got to get good good quality supplementation. You can't go to a local drugstore and expect for these supplements to work. So for your immune system, we're going to start with zinc. Zinc is essential towards your T cell counts and your cellular function. So during this pandemic, it's important that you get the proper amount of zinc in your diet. Uh, if you read the bottle of a zinc bottle, it may tell you one a day, but if you're over 160 pounds or you're a bigger person, I would double up what the Bible was telling you, because when you have more mass and body index, it's important that you double up. So let's start with zinc. The other one, of course, is vitamin C. Vitamin C is responsible for cellular function. Its properties help fight viruses.
Mm.
Vitamin C is so important. You can actually do up to 9 grams of vitamin C a day, which in
Mm.
most cases, when you see vitamin C, is going to start out maybe at 250, 500 milligrams. It's going to go up to 1,000. You can do 5 a day. We can do maybe 6 a day, 6 milligrams a day, because vitamin C is water soluble. Not like zinc. Zinc goes into the fatty tissues and it can store it, which means you can get a reaction from it. And by the way, it's hard to OD for vitamins, but your body is so smart that when it takes on vitamins, and especially the water soluble ones like vitamin C, it will urinate the rest and give your body what it needs for that moment to function. The other
Mm.
one is vitamin D.
Mm.
Although we think we're getting a lot of sunlight, but sometimes we don't. But the absorption process, and mainly D3, which is how get a high quality volume, vitamin D is essential towards cellular function. Is essential towards building the immune system. So if you're trying to build your immune system and you're trying to protect yourself against this virus, it's important that Mother Nature wanted you to have these minerals, because once you have these minerals, the system fights for you. It's smart. Your body is intelligent and it
Mm-hmm.
can do whatever it needs to do as long as it's not mineral deficient. Of course, the other mineral that's important is vitamin A. Vitamin A is responsible for the receptors of your cellular function. It plays a big role in your
Mm.
overall cellular function when it comes towards your immune system. Don't forget, water plays a big role too, but just not any
Mm.
water. We want to get a good spring water. I've been telling people, brother, lately about
Right.
the pH waters and sometimes how they're not safe and it doesn't get in your cells. But if you're drinking water, one thing you want to do when you drink water is half of your body weight. So if you weigh 150, you should be drinking 75 ounces a day, which is really not enough, because it's containers out there that has 25 ounces. You drink 3 of them throughout the course of the day. You should start the first thing you wake up in the morning, and you should be able to get the amount of water. So water plays a role too. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, the immune system is a system that you have to be user friendly with your digestive system. It's important during this pandemic that this is a time that we need to wake up and just eat better. We
Right.
just can't afford, because the virus is out there that can do harm to us. People with the metabolic symptoms as hypertension and diabetes, they really need to eat right, take the necessary vitamins and minerals, and find a way to be healthy, because diabetes and hypertension, these things are curable because they are mineral deficient problems. For example, Hypertension is a magnesium and calcium deficiency. So if you clean up your diet, get a cleaner diet, get the essential minerals in, which is magnesium. In fact, it's been reported almost 85% of people in the USA are magnesium deficient because magnesium plays
Mm,
a role in heart function. It plays a role with your pancreas. It plays several roles. It's one of the biggest nutritional supplements that you need, or vitamins that you need on a daily basis. So it's
mm.
important that we understand that in hypertension, just like this pandemic that's going on, the way you build your immune system, vitamin A, C, D, and zinc, these are minerals that if you get high quality of these minerals along with a good diet, I can tell you, brother, I can take pride. I haven't gotten the shot. I haven't had COVID. And if I did, it was a blank in the eye because I probably was asymptomatic. But taking the necessary minerals, I would like to be the poster child at. But it's so funny during this pandemic, we only hearing from doctors, which are allopathic doctors in the world. What happened to the herbalists? What happened to the
Mm,
homeopathics? What happened to the
mm.
naturopathics? What happened to Chinese medicine? Do we see the Chinese people in America lining up in the ER saying
No,
that, hey, we got COVID and we're dying. Can you please help us? We need to get the
no,
shot. No, because most
no.
of them turn to their alternative medicine of Chinese medicine. And of course, they're not going to take the vaccine because they're self-sufficient. They have always been better than our ethnic group. They're creating their own alliance when it comes towards entrepreneurship. So they don't have to worry about going to a job and a job telling them if you don't get a vaccine, that
Right,
unfortunately you won't be able to work here again. So
right.
look at your Japanese and look at the Chinese people in this country, and you see
Mhm.
that they have adopted to their ancestry Chinese medicine.
Right.
So, brother, this is some of the challenges that we have, but make no qualms about it. The reason why we're sick in America, especially black people, is that we're mineral deficient and we're over acidic. We have too much acid in our diet.
Mm. Okay. All right. Can you explain the some of the things that we as a people eat that we should not be eating? For an example, like like I don't know, like greasy foods or whatever, fried foods, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you
Because
know what? Let's look at let's do something here, man. Let's just look at the 12 bad foods in America right now
all
that
right,
that
okay,
that is killing our people. And if we can just focus on staying away from the 12 bad foods in this country, it would do us a lot of justice when it comes towards, you
also
know,
would that apply? Would those 12 foods also apply to the continent?
say it
In some
again.
would the 12 foods also apply to the continent,
Well, sure they do.
as well? Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're right. I'm just saying.
Absolutely to a certain degree, but
Right.
absolutely to the people out there in the continent, you know, I'll make a distinction with that because in America, just for example, the 12 bad foods in America, but some of them are still hold fast in the continent. So
Right.
like wheat, barley, rye, and oats,
Hmm.
we just don't, it's better manufactured in the continent than it is in the United States. But still gluten is gluten. So we got
Hmm.
to be more careful with gluten more than anything. So wheat, barley, rye, and oats. If it has too much gluten in it, it destroys the bill in the stomach, and your propensity to really be able to absorb minerals is hampered with. So whether you're in the continent or whether you're in the United States, you want to be more cautious of your wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Okay.
Okay.
The
All right.
number fifth, the fifth thing you want to be careful with, if if not so as much as the motherland, if you can find in the continent, if you can find an olive oil branch, or if you know somebody local making olive oil. But the problem here in the United States, the challenge is that once we get olive oil and it ships, it becomes deoxidized and it becomes inflammatory. So
Mm.
here's the thing: if you're in the motherland or if you're in the continent and you can get a hold of fresh olive oil, that's great. But if you know it has to be shipped, it has air pockets in it, which the oil becomes deoxidized and it becomes inflammatory. So if you're eating mainly, I should say mainly uh, canola, not canola oil. Those oils you want to say were corn
Yeah.
oil, canola oil.
Yeah.
If you're
Not
doing
good.
olive oil, just make sure you're getting it from a source that's fresh. In the United States, most olive oil is made in California or even in Italy. And about the time it gets to us, especially on this side of the plant of the United States, it becomes deoxidized. Your options,
Mm,
by the way, for wheat, barley, and oat is gluten-free products. You can
mm,
all do go gluten-free because it's the best and a safe chance you have to protect your digestive system. But in the case of olive oil, just go with I think you can go with it's no question you can go with coconut oil. You can also
mm.
salt to your
Yeah,
food with
I use
butter.
that.
Butter is actually safe because my
Oh.
parents grew up off of butter and
Mm,
sauteing it, and they didn't have all these problems that's been identified, especially in the United States.
mm. Butter.
Whether you're in the month, whether you're in the month, whether you're wait,
Uh-oh.
let me take this off. Whether you're in the motherland or whether you're in the in United States, fried foods. bad, bad thing to do because when you deep fry any foods, it creates this nasty chemical called acrylamides, and
Oh.
acrylamides are cancer causing. They're carcinogenic. So here's the thing: over a period of time, you may get away with eating fried foods because you have enough antioxidants in your system. But what happens when you run out of those antioxidants and those free radicals start taking over your body? These are the things that causes cancer because these
Oh.
acrylamides are chemicals that comes from the fried food, and over a period of time they will raise havoc on you. If you look down the Macy-Dixon line as far as Alabama and Georgia and going up, you see high rates of cancer because they live by fried food. They do
Mm,
fried waffles, they do fried chicken. Where the cancer rates are higher, that's where you see a lot of cancers in the United States. But whether you're in the continent or whether you're in the United States, stay away from fried foods as much as possible because it's
mm.
carcinogenic.
Right. Okay. That wow. Wow, I didn't
So
know that.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah, I
no,
didn't know
and
that.
as good as fried foods is, brother, and we enjoy it and we love it. It's a downside. Sometimes you can buffer, but if you did something, I wouldn't even say do it in moderation because what you're doing is you're killing your reserves and your reserves is needed for emergency. So there's a war going on in your body, and it's free radicals versus antioxidants. And the reason
Mm,
why black people in the continent or even in the United States are sick, we have too many free radicals in our diet. We don't have enough
mm.
antioxidants because antioxidants is what keeps you alive. The other thing is well done meat. Well done meat has acrylamides in it also. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, I like my steak hard done, well done." Yeah, cook it to me fried. I like it till it's burnt. Well, that's carcinogenic. That's cancer causing also. So stay
What?
away from well done meat. And I
Wow.
and there's people out here who like it cooked very hard
Yeah,
and
I
want
like
it
it
well
well
done.
done. Yeah, I like it well done.
No,
If I do eat meat, but I
yeah, but
stopped.
but be
Yeah.
careful because it's
Oh wow.
carcinogenic and it has a lot of free radicals when you cook that meat too hard.
Oh,
How
I didn't
about
know
lunch
that.
meats? Lunch meats
Uh-huh.
are carcinogenic also because
Oh.
it's this nasty chemical called nitrates. And those
Uh-huh.
nitrates that's in lunch meats. And you know what, brother? Every time I go to the supermarket, our black people are lined up with numbers getting lunch meat. Bad bone, bad deal, stay away from lunch meat and the dye in lunch meat, that's the nitrates that's in it. They give it
Right.
that pretty color. And remember, America wants everything to have shelf life. And even in
Right.
the motherland, we put things in the continent to give it more shelf life so we don't lose money. But these chemicals that they put in it to give you shelf life are carcinogenic. And lunch meats have nitrates in it. So
Mm.
best to buy your feet fresh. I know in the continent, the motherland, that you can always do that. There are some challenges in United States getting fresh meat because when they put the dye in it, which is causes gives it more shelf life, it's nitrates that's in it, and it's a bad bone, bad deal. Baked skins of a potato, baked skins
Right.
of a sweet potatoes,
Right.
carcinogenic also. These
What?
are cancer causing chemicals when you eat the skin. Someone who said the skin was good for you, but in
Yeah.
actuality, it's been proven scientifically that the chemical that it's called an amino some kind of amino um, um, chemical that comes from it from a baked skin of a boiled potato. or a sweet potato, you want to stay away from the skins of potatoes. Okay? The 11th and 12th thing, and I said there will be 12, is corn. Corn is
Corn.
genetically modified, and so is soy. Not so much in the motherland, but if you're in the continent, corn has 7 strings of fungus. So if it's not genetically modified, it has 7 strings of fungus in it, but more importantly, it causes weight gain. What it does is causes high thyroid levels. So when you eat a lot of corn, it
Uh-huh.
causes high thyroid levels, and as a result, you can get sick. Okay, so stay away from corn and mainly soy. Most soy are genetically modified also. So it's important that you stay away from these 12 things. But brother, I just mentioned some 12 bad things in this country that we need to stay away from. But but those things are very, very bad for you. But we just have to be more vitamin and mineral conscious, and we have to be more food conscious. And of course, the big thing about vegetables, it helps your pH level. I know in a continent they have stores that you can check your pH levels every morning. Everyone should be checking their pH levels. It's a pH paper out there for human bodies that your first urine in the morning and your saliva, you want to test your pH levels. And the way you get a true pH reading is you test your saliva first. Say you get a score from your saliva of 6. you
Okay.
you you add that twice, which gives you 12, and then you take your pH from your urine. You get a number from that. That is 6. You add all those together, and then you divide it by 3. That's how you get a true pH reading as far as your pH. pH is everything. Disease cannot live if your body is alkaline. It's important that your
Mm.
body is alkaline. But believe it or not, before we had all this technology, all we had was pH paper, and pH paper is the guiding light to determine your propensity for good health. So just wanted to share that tip with pH paper.
Okay. Okay. All right. So my question is what what can we eat?
Well,
What should
there's a multiplicity of things that you can eat. You can At this point during the pandemic, you can eat all the vegetables you want. If they're organic, that's a plus. If they're not, make sure you wash them. So whether it's broccoli, kale, bok choy, uh, uh, greens, uh, cabbage, vegetable crazy, brother. You should have a big butt. It's called the 80-20 rule. You can eat brown rice. You can eat jasmine rice. You can eat good whole grain rices. They are good for you. You can do eggs, but do organic eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do eggs that are corn fed because those eggs are not as they're not as potent as fresh. So go organic. There's a lot of good farmers in the continent in the United States that still produce organic eggs.
Mm.
Okay, so you can eat eggs. You can eat meat as long as it is it organic. Get the organic choices of meat. So make sure
Okay.
that you get that. Okay.
All right. All right. So what
But you don't
about
want.
yeah? What about high blood pressure?
Say it again, brother.
What about high blood pressure? How can we curb? Because there's some things I think we're more susceptible to high blood pressure. How can we?
Well,
What can we
here's
do?
the thing. Here's the
Go ahead.
thing. When it comes towards high blood pressure, and believe it or not, I'm glad you brought that up. We actually lead in the United States and any ethnic group from hypertension. Hypertension results in congestive heart failure. But make no bones about it, your kidneys is regulated by your blood pressure. So the pressure of your kidneys is important in regulating toxins and getting out your system. Remember, your kidneys are a filtering device. It has to filter the toxins that come through. But if your pressure of your kidneys are too fast, which is your hypertension, those elements get inside of you, and as a result of those elements getting inside of you, they actually cause congestive heart failure and also stroke, and it
Mm,
coagulates your blood. That's what happens when the blood get thicker. So what we need to understand about hypertension is, first of all, some people who have it may be obese, and I don't want to put a claimer out there that everybody, because small guys like me can catch it just as well. But make no qualms about it. It's mineral deficient, It's too much acid. So if you go vegetable based with your diet and get magnesium, high quality magnesium and calcium, also believe it or not, brother, juicing helps. If you can juice all the green vegetables, go
Mm.
vegetable based. I have helped so many people with blood pressures that was 170, over 100, over 90, and over a week period of time. A week, blood pressure was back to normal. You got to stop eating the junk that's clogging up the works. You got to
Right.
stop eating all this bad food. So one thing you do is feed your body the minerals it needs. More importantly, you go clean with your diet, and the body fixes itself. The body cannot continuously operate when it doesn't have the nutrition. Something is going to break.
Right
And that's
now.
what hypertension. Hypertension is a metabolic symptom. It means that your body is likening something and it can't regulate itself. And because you got too much acid, you got too much fried foods, you got too much uh, bad food combinations. And by the way, bad food combinations is sandwiches. That's the worst bad food combination we can eat in the continent in the motherland, because you're eating a carb with a protein and they never mix together. They cause bad stomach acid. So, in other words, hypertension in our community can go away. And I'm very confident, again, if we're more conscious of what we eat, and if we can just go more vegetable based with our diet and get high quality minerals, mainly magnesium. Magnesium is our biggest problem. And of course, hydration is important too. We have to hydrate.
Right.
So
Right. What?
that's important that we get a word. Most people may be doing everything correctly, but they're not hydrating. Of course, exercise helps, but exercise will not get rid of hypertension. Exercise regulates the body. It doesn't get rid of hypertension. And believe it or not, brother, here's the biggest fallacy of all. The
Mhm.
doctors have told us to stay away from salt, but no, sodium plays a big role because that's your second biggest mineral that your body needs to regulate yourself with. But we don't need refined sodium. We need sea salt sodium. So it's
Oh,
important that you have sea salt in your diet just as well.
got it.
And because it helps to lower the blood pressure, but you need sea salt.
All right. Now, one of the viewers asked, somebody asked a question that they don't eat eggs. What can they eat to replace whatever the egg is giving them? What
Well,
can a
well,
person?
you know what? It's egg is an option because when you look at eggs, you're talking about your 12 essential amino acids. So it's okay. You don't have to eat eggs, but what you have to do is ensure, because one way to get the 12 essential amino acids, you have to find a way to replace it. People who don't want to eat eggs, I recommend that you supplement an amino acid because it's hard to get it from vegetables. And if you're not big on meat, then it's going to be really extremely difficult if you're not going to get it. So amino acids can actually come from a good plant-based diet, but it can also come from soy. But it don't necessarily have to come from eggs, but eggs give you a shorter route. And but if you don't want eggs, it's important that you find good, wholesome vegetables that are organic, and because you'll get enough amino acids if you eat the right amount of organic vegetables. So, and even some soy will give you your amino acids, but amino acids are important to cellular function, and eggs actually gives you. I think there's 12 amino acids, and eggs actually give you nine of them. So
Oh
that's
wow.
why I mentioned eggs. But you can get the amino acids that you need either through supplementation or a good plant-based diet.
Okay.
So I
All
don't
right.
know whether you can hear me now. Um, but I got a question. Can he hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's great. So the topic of our show today was actually can Africa live up to 120 years? Now, when I listen to all that you are saying, and you give example of some of the elements that we really need in our system, like magnesium and all of those, and we know that avocado is so much rich in magnesium, and there are some nuts also that are rich in magnesium. Now, going back to our topic of the day, which is can Africa live up to 120 years? I just want to ask you a question. before now, if you come to Africa, despite whatsoever the media show you up there, if you come to Africa, you will discover that people really live for a very long time. People live a very long life, and we don't see those kind of people around anymore. The life expectancy of a common African is not what it used to be. So, and now you talking of all of this things, supplement and whatsoever. Our forefathers never used to supplement anything. So, do you think there is a particular thing that we are putting in our system right now that is actually shortening our lives, or what exactly? Do you think the Western medicine has actually shortened our life? I'm speaking as an African because before the Western medicine, I don't think our lives were this short. And what has happened right now is how much an African person doesn't believe their medicine, and in fact, their medicine are associated with voodoo power. People don't consider it so much, but if we look at it very well, our medicine, which you can call it herbal medicine or whatsoever, um, if you can compare what is happening now with what happened in those days, someone can argue that the the medicine, was the herbal medicine, was more effective. So, what do you think? Do you think the Western medicine actually has a detrimental impact on our people?
Yo, brother, you really said a lot, and I just want to thank you for your comment because your comment is very powerful. My family comes from Nigeria, and my grandfather lived to see 105. So longevity was no question. And by the way, I've been to the motherland on numerous occasions. Being a Navy veteran, I spent some time in Morocco. I spent some time in Tunisia. I spent some time in Egypt. So, and also spent some time in Johannesburg too. So
Mhm.
some of what you're saying, you're right on point because what we did back then is not applicable, especially in the motherland, and what we did now. For example, every time in the motherland in Africa, every time we ate something, it was fortified with minerals. The soil has changed in Africa, just like in any other country. It's not as potent as it used to be. So when you grow, say, a broccoli or you grow a vegetable, the vegetable had so much nutritional value in it. And because of content and because of global warming, and there's a multiplicity of things that goes on in any country that weakens the soil, that's the difference right now. Can a person live to see? I mean, it was people that in my tree lived to see 130. I mean, blacks have a propensity of living very, very long, and we age slowly. Unfortunately, we age from the inside out. So I know a lot of brothers and sisters that look good in their 60s, but inside they're functioning not that well. And that's what we need to catch up with in order to get longevity. Unfortunately, we have to put supplements in the game because we're in a society now that we have to. Yes, Western medicine and some of their ways, even some of the medicines that we decide to go to when we get very sick, even in the motherland, compromises your filtering systems, which is your kidneys, your livers, your digestive system. But it's no question you can live a long life. You just have to put more effort. When my grandparents that lived to see 105, they just lived in Africa. When they were from Nigeria, they came to the United States. They had a good foundation of nutrition, but the fact of the matter is that that everything in the motherland, especially in Africa, was much more potent. In America, all we have done is genetically modify food. We always was concerned: do we have enough food to feed people? So we
Mhm.
start taking shortcuts and corners. But just like in the United States and also in Africa, there are some good farmers out there, and those are the people you need to depend on in order to get longevity.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mm.
wow, that is powerful, because I'm looking at um the country called Madagascar. When Corona uh, first arrived in Africa and people were dying, these guys, they got just a leaf that I've forgotten the name of that leaf, but it's a herbal medicine, and this herbal medicine was actually able to cure. In fact, Madagascar has only like the cases of corona, people that actually died from corona. From Madagascar, they were not even up to 20, if I get my fact straight, because of
Right.
that, because they accepted it. But the challenge we have in Africa is our inability to accept so many things that are ours. That has become our challenge. The government cannot take it upon themselves to say, okay, cool, let us be able to modify these herbal medicines that we are producing. So we prefer to like order things from other continents. But one thing that our people must know is that the problem of Africa is not the problem of America. And the problem of Africa is absolutely not the problem of Europe. We cannot solve our problem with the same solution that Europe and America are solving their problem. Their medicine might even be more detrimental to us, because I don't know so much about medical sciences, but then Dr. Phil can be able to talk about that, because in as much as we are the same human beings, our
Mhm.
physiology is not the same. You understand? So what might work so perfectly for the guy in Europe, or the citizens of Europe, might not work so perfectly for the people on the continent. I don't know whether that is true, but then I believe so strongly that our physiology is not the same. So the problem of Africa, let's say the health problem of Africa, should be addressed by the solution that is reasoned by Africans themselves.
Well, and brother, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, even when I was in Africa, what has happened over the years, that the bad eating, the foods that are high in free radicals, there is some bad eating in Africa. And when I was over in Egypt, the diets that were prominent in America, some of those concepts has come over Africa. Even, and for example, McDonald's and Burger Kings and Kentucky Fried Chickens, they show up in Africa, and they had did a study where they put I think it was a Kentucky Fried Chicken in one place in Africa, and they saw obesity and hypertension rates go up in Africa. So it's no
Exactly.
question that the food is changing the landscape of health, and now it's required, even in the motherland, to put more effort into it. But the fact of the matter is that you're making a good point. There is some disparity, whether it's United. There is a difference between United States health and African health. But the fact of the matter is that I think African health is not too far away. They just have to take away some of the things that's in their diet and collectively fight as a community to stay healthy. And that's what they did in Madagascar. They have a lot of good things in place in that country that practices good wellness, because this virus is a wellness problem. It's not a disease. It's a virus, and when viruses come in any country, it's going to attack the people who are not well. That's why it's a wellness virus. So if you're not well, and brother, believe it or not, being not well means, are you mineral deficient? Do you have
Okay.
enough nutrition in your body that you can fight things? That's the key.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, and the example you just gave right now, I know anybody from South Africa who is watching what we're speaking about right now will agree with you 100%. I think South Africa is more westernized than any other African country. So if you look at the level of obesity here, because all of those foods in America, they are here. Your McDonald's, your Burger
Absolutely.
King, or all of them, KFC and all of that. Those are the food that people eat in here, and the level of
Hmm.
obesity here is very high. Even in kids, the kids are obese.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
You, that's the obesity is a mineral deficient. People are getting big because when the body has too much sodium, fat, and sugar in it, it doesn't have nutrition in it. That's why obesity people have the highest disability rate. Obesity in this country has always been a big problem. It continues, but the fact of the matter is that we're changing the landscape of disease because of obesity. Even in fact, I'm a small person. I can't even go into a department store or anywhere and buy something my size right now because the market has been tailored
Yeah.
towards everybody being big and
Yeah.
obese. But obesity in this country has become, especially in the United States and some parts of Africa, has become a business that people have taken advantage of at the expense of people getting sick because anyone that in my family that suffered from obesity, because I'm in my 60s, they unfortunately are not here, especially if they were older grandparents or whatever. They probably would have been going by now, but their lives were short because of obesity, because the body cannot regulate itself, it's mineral deficient, and there's so many challenges when it comes to being obese.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, King.
So actually, before we will take so much time, I wanted to ask a question on Dr.
Mhm.
Phil's take about herbal medicine, because I'm trying to talk about Africa here. So what do you think about herbal medicine? Do you think that it must be refined first? If it is not refined, it is not good for consumption, because most time people who shun or look down on herbal medicine is mostly because the way these stuffs are made. So they consider it not to be healthy enough for them to take it into their system. So do you think the herbal medicine or the traditional medicines that we have in Africa, they must go, they must be refined or modified before consumption?
Oh man, it's no question. Remember, sin medicine is, especially medicine in Africa. I kind of using a blank with the terminology you're using, but it's designed to bully its way through your system and take over your anatomy. So when you bully your way through the system, you're shutting down vital aspects of your body and to be able to regulate itself.
Mhm.
Medicine, just keeps in mind, especially the medicine in Africa, it's almost become westernized, like you said. What does it do? There's some toxic elements in it, but those toxic elements compromise your liver, your kidneys, and your digestive system, brother. And you need those three things in order to maintain good health. In order to get to the age
Mm,
of 125, 130, 105,
really?
you cannot compromise your systems. But the pendulum has switched it that way, and as a result, people in the motherland or in Africa looking for quicker results, other than taking an herbal approach and having things that's more softer to your system. Just for
Mm.
example, if you catch cancer, you can actually don't need aggressive medications. You can actually get rid of cancer in 5 or 6 years, but nobody wants to wait. They want an automatic result and want it going in 5 months. Well, it took a lifetime for cancer to come, so now you want it to go away in 6 months. The human anatomy does not work that way. So as a result of getting these aggressive medications, they shorten your life, but they compromise your immune system and they're compromised. To your
Mm.
point, the whole system needs to be redone because there's herbal ways of getting better and safer plant-based medications and minerals in a system that's much more softer to the body. At one point, even when I was in Egypt, they had a software. I think that we all went into some food poisoning, and what the guy did is gave us some garlic and some oil, and it helped our bacteria in our stomach, and it helped with the food poisoning. And before we know it, we felt better. So that was something natural. You don't need a harsh medication to get rid of food poisoning. There is so many herbal things out there that we in Africa has lost our connection to, and we're going more westernized. So you make you to your point that it's not working, and we need to revamp that system. And in America, I think we'll never do it, but you guys have a better propensity of doing it over there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. I have a question. Back home in Harlem, there was a guy that used to kind of, he was like a vendor, and he used to come up with herbal medicines. So he would ask the person, hey, what is your ailment, or what do you want to repair? And then he would make, I guess, the actual whatever he came, the different herbs he put together, the solution, and then he would give it to you, and then he would say, don't pay me now, pay me when you see the results. Do you agree with that? Or I mean, do you think that, I mean, I'm just saying, because it seems
Well,
like, what he was trying to do was, let me first take it, let me see the results, and then I'm gonna come back and pay you. Which, some people are like, well, how they're gonna come back to pay? And
well,
then
well,
I remember some people were like, hey, this guy did this for me, did that, he did all these things. Like, hey, you got to try it. And it seemed like our people gotta try it, and then believe in it, or I don't say believe in it, but have some factual evidence that it works before they even put it in their bodies. Does that make sense?
no, no, no. I think what the brother was trying to do, and you
Right.
know what, I commend him for that because in actuality, brother, we have this unequivocal belief in the white man system in America that his medicine is the best medicine. And when you're black and you're telling somebody you got a herbal treatment, a lot of people don't believe, but sometimes if you can get them to try something and they see how soft it was to your organs, how the results they would get. Because remember, herbs are just a derivative of vitamins and minerals. They just come
Mm,
from chickweed. They just come from
mm,
different aspects of it. Milk thrustle. All these different things are derivatives of vitamins. So when he
mm,
puts concoctions together, he knows that there's a war going out here because most people believe in our doctors before they believe in the herbalists, which to
mm,
me, they both in the same category, but the herbalist has a better advantage because he's more closer to God. See, we got to take this thing to a spiritual
mm.
point because
Uh-oh.
medicine in this country is really demonic in America, in some parts of Africa, because you're taking solutions. They're taking elements that I can't even pronounce, brother, and they're putting them together.
Mm,
And one thing they're not good
mm,
at is that when they give you two or more medications, they don't do
mm,
research to show you if those medications, how they interact and what long-term effect they can cause in your body. But to that brother's point, he
mm,
knew he was losing a battle. He was losing, and the only one way to get you to buy in is to get you to try it. Because once you
mm,
try it and someone else try it, then he builds his marketing. So that's his
mm,
marketing campaign. Because when you're out here in America, even me selling vitamins and convincing people that with my master's degree and my understanding of wellness that you should try it. Whereas though a doctor has an MD degree and he's been to school for 11 years and he wears a white jacket and he's conditioned you to think that you know everything, you're going to try him before you try me. But if I
mm,
use some marketing technique and say, come on, try it for a month, here it is, and then you see the results, then I'm going to gain that marketing confidence from you from that particular. So to your point, brother, that's a
mm,
clever way of really fighting a war that we're losing right now because doctors do not know everything in this country. Doctors in this country they don't know wellness. First of all,
right,
they're good at emergency medicine, they're good at trauma and some infectious diseases, but that's what they're good at. They're
right.
not good at this. This virus requires a certain amount of expertise, a certain amount of hands to be on it. And those hands are not around. They're herbalists, they're homeopathic, they're naturopathic. These are the people who should be having a conversation about this virus, but they will not bring a vaccine to the table, which makes millions of dollars, and that's the difference. So to what you experienced in Harlem, brother, I think the brother understood that he was losing the battle and he had to go in pretty much naked.
Mm. Got it. Got it. Yeah, because I was gonna say I've gotten a lot of results from using herbal supplements and using the knowledge that you just explained in this, in this short show. I've gotten more results as a human being. I haven't even seen a doctor since I was maybe 18, Maybe I don't even have a doctor. I don't have a doctor that I go to regularly. So, and I'm not advocating that. I'm not advocating that to anyone. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. But what I'm saying is, I never went to a doctor my whole life, and I've never been sick. And I don't know. I don't know what to say, but that in that, whatever you're saying, I understand it because I've actually used it and implemented it, and it works. It
No,
works.
you know what,
So
and you know what?
I can't really.
Before we even had this sophisticated system, because remember, allopathic medicine got its strength through big pharma back in the late 1800s. Matter of fact, our ancestors in Africa lived to see 125 and
Right.
never saw a doctor.
And
So
also too,
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
too, brother Phil. Also too, my grandmother used to say that back. She used to say to me, use this, try this, it's going to work. And I used to tell her, how do I know it's going to work? And she said, because back in the day, we couldn't go to the hospitals in the United States. We couldn't go to the hospitals in the United States because we were black, because we were African descent. They wouldn't allow us in. So we came up with our own herbal stuff. And this is what I'm giving you. And boy, you better take it. And I used to take it, and I used to be okay. So I'm just trying to figure out when did we lose that continuity? When did we lose this knowledge? And then now we looking at people on TV talking about they know better. They know how to they have rights over our own minds and bodies. Like, when did that happen?
well, it just happened because we changed our belief system. We got away from what worked for us. We this addiction. Remember, I told you Jerome Fox book, Addicted to White.
Right.
The addiction to materialism has also meant addiction to the entire system. We have been conditioned to think that if we go to college and be self-serving to the plantation, that we're going to get the best insurance card on the planet. An insurance card that only addresses disease management, not wellness, right?
Right.
So
Right.
we go to college, we want a city state job, and we want those jobs to give us the best insurance, but we forget about the big picture. What you were talking about is how to stay well and using other aspects that our grandparents taught us. So
Mhm.
once again, we've been conditioned. We want that big job. We want that great insurance. I know people that won't retire because they don't know how to manage their health. And they said, well, I have to pay $1,500 a month for health insurance because they have never focused on staying healthy. They have hypertension, diabetes. They have gout. They have ailments that you can fix
Oh,
through good nutrition, through juicing, through drinking more water and cleaning up your diet.
yeah.
Because when
Just
you do those things, especially if you're overweight, you're going to lose weight. But more importantly, that's all the body is asking for. But to your point, brother, I concur with you 120%.
thank you. Well, one more thing I wanted to add before the show ends is that um, we as a people consume a lot of alcohol, beer, liquor. What can you explain? What is the detrimental results of drinking all this beer and alcohol?
Well, brother, that's another good point. So you're getting a lot out of me for this hour. But here's the thing. Absolutely. That's one of the things that you should do. And it should have been on the list of things not to do. But we focusing on food. But people got to understand one thing: the yeast in beer, the ethanol. When alcohol is fermented, it
Ethanol.
turns into ethanol. Ethanol is a poison. So what does it do? It kills your it actually was responsible for killing the antioxidants in your body. It lowers your nutritional level. Your body cannot buffer ethanol. So all you do is weaken your immune system when you drink alcohol. So people who during the pandemic stayed home and drank alcohol and then finally went outside because they suppressed their immune system and it was already weak and got sick and maybe even died from COVID. Because by the way, most people ain't dying from COVID. They died from the treatment, but that's another subject. But
Yeah.
to go back to alcohol, alcohol weakens your immune system. It's no place. If you look at the history of alcohol and prohibition, it was all about greed. It was never about something to benefit. People want to be numb. but they want it at the expense of compromising their health. Unfortunately, as a 60-year-old man, and I'm in my 60s, uh, any of my friends who drunk liquor, buddy, they're gone. They're no longer here. They died because what do you compromise when you do liquor? Your liver. Remember, you heard of the liver, and the liver is one of your biggest filtering
Mm.
devices that needed. You can't function without a liver, but more importantly, it strips nutrition. It's responsible for cancers because when you drink alcohol and the body doesn't have nutrition, that's where cancer comes from. Because when your
Mm.
body runs out of nutrition, then these tumors will show up, and the tumors are a result of the body, the whole entire body not having nutrition needs. But just remember, when you're drinking alcohol, it formates into ethanol. And look up what
Mm.
ethanol is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
poison.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, as soon as you said ethanol, I was like, oh no.
So,
Oh
so
no.
that's why we should stay. People say moderation, and in life is where you're at. If you're healthy and you want a glass of wine every now and then, okay. But you got some people who drink liquor. I mean, talking
Yeah,
about that gin and that.
yeah.
I
They
could never,
drinking
and
it.
it never stuff never tastes good. But I don't see why people do it. But people like to feel numb enough that
Right.
that the whatever realities in life that are challenges, you can numb them down for the moment. But your connection to source will always help you, connect better and deal with life's challenges. So people
Yeah,
need
we
to be
talked
more
about that
connected to
yesterday.
source, not alcohol.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, being connected to the source. Remember?
Yeah,
We spoke of that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
alcohol,
yeah.
So
bad bone. Stay away from it. The older you are, the more you need to run from it because your body
Mm,
just don't have enough antioxidant in it to buffer the ethanol effects of alcohol.
mm.
yeah, and when you talk about alcohol, is of
Wow.
very big concern here in Africa, and I can sit here and condemn alcohol, but I would not be fair enough because, like you said, some people take alcohol to numb the reality that they are facing. And if we live in a continent whereby the harsh reality is always before you, like the harsh reality of poverty, the harsh reality of starvation, and all of those things. And as a man, you discover that you cannot take care of your family, and that is the worst thing that can happen to any man when you discover that you cannot take care of your family. And some of these
Mm,
people is not that they want to go into alcohol, but what is happening right now is that they just want to numb that feeling. And I'm
mm.
talking about so many people, so many people. So if you come to South Africa where I live, I know many people don't take notice of this, but for any township that you enter, at the entrance of any township, there is a drinking joint there.
Mm.
I don't know
Absolutely.
how that happened. I don't know how that happened, but in each and every township, at the entrance of those townships, you will see a drinking joint that people will always gather there on Friday to drink and drink and drink and drink. Remember, some of these people are working, they're paying them per week. So every Friday, they just branch there. And this has
Waste
done
all their
so much
money.
harm to our productivity. So I don't know, with what you just said now, I look at it as, is that a strategy of shortening the life of our people, or what exactly? Because it has become a
Mm.
culture that everybody has bought into.
This same side, it's the same thing, King, on this side. Same
No,
thing. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, brother.
no, absolutely. No, absolutely. It's a business, and it's a business that compromises your health. So we can't say no more about alcohol. People are conditioned, even to socially, and to drink and to get that eureka feeling from alcohol, but it compromises your health, and unfortunately, it weakens the immune system. Can't say no more about it.
Yeah, and that you should see the commercials on this side. They make it look all nice. They get the best actors, everything. They got a nice, and
Oh,
then you're like, ooh, I gotta drink alcohol. Bye bye, Ray, wasting all your money. You know what I'm saying? You should be taking it and investing it. Should be taking it and doing something else with it. Besides, or buy you some herbs. Buy you some herbs. or whatever. I'm just saying.
So, so
Wow.
before we close, like I want Dr. Phil to answer me this question about lack of food in the system. What will it do to you? I'm asking this thing
Mm,
on the two perspective. On the spiritual level, I am a Christian, and so I fast a lot, and I'm like super skinny, and that is for my side. And then you have people who I'm talking about my continent, which is Africa. Have people who can afford only just a square meal. They cannot afford breakfast. They cannot afford a lunch. So what they do is that they just eat once in a day. So what 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 is the impact? What is the detrimental impact of lacking food in your body?
Or brother, unfortunately, and I hear people talk about fasting, but
yeah.
I'm a thin guy, and fasting is only contingent upon how healthy you can be, because
Mm,
sometimes you don't need to fast. If you're doing it for religion reasons, you have to really, speak to your source, and may want to do something different. But the body needs calories. So
mhm,
don't you know, sitting down and just absolutely doing nothing, you burn 250 calories an hour just sitting down. So just imagine if you have a diet that only has 500 calories throughout a day, you're going to lose weight, and you're going to deprive yourself and be mineral deficient. There is a thin line between health and staying alive. And
mhm.
Okay.
sometimes people cross that line when they're talking about fasting. Fasting has some
Yeah.
great benefits
I,
when your body is healthy, but for most of the part,
Yeah.
you have to get calories in, because if you're, like I said, if you're just sitting down and you can burn 250 calories an hour, just imagine if you don't have enough calories, and how you weaken your immune system and how you weaken your overall system. You have to eat and drink. There's no question.
Mm,
And some people, body mass index, if they weigh 190 pounds, they may be able to get away with fasting. But when your reserves are limited, then you have to really understand your anatomy and make a choice for yourself.
yeah. I will also say to the fasting part. I will also say to the fasting part that a lot of people are confused with fasting.
mm,
So, no, in other words, when you look at it from a religious standpoint, there's physical fasting and then there's a mental fasting. And a lot of people
mm.
don't understand that the mental fasting is what you're working towards. You're working toward not having that bad thought in your mind. You're working
Yeah.
toward turning off the TV. You're working toward turning off the social media. You're working toward not drinking the beer. You're working toward that. That's the real fast. It's not you not
Okay.
consuming food, because who nobody want you to pass away because you didn't eat food, because you're trying to prove how much you are connected to the source, so to speak. The real issue of fasting is a mental. It's mental. What mental things are you fasting from? That's what you have to work on,
Mm,
my brother. Not just you, anybody who's listening to this program. The mental
Absolutely.
fast is the most
Absolutely.
important, not no physical. I'm not going to kill myself because I'm trying to prove to everybody that I'm trying to get in line with the source. No, I'm going to show it by my mental capacity to avoid certain things in life. And then somebody might ask me, well, why do you avoid this and this and that? Oh, because I fasted. I fasted. Doesn't mean I didn't eat. It means that I stepped away from life, analyzed it, and now I got it. Now I know how to get around those things. That's what I'm talking
Absolutely.
about, my brother. That's what I'm talking about, my brother. So please eat. All right,
Yeah,
King. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
So we gonna
yeah.
close it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
done, sir. I mean, we're not done, but this is part one. We would love to
Okay.
have you back on the show later, another
Oh,
time,
absolutely.
and I'll get with you, brother. And I'll get with you and thank you for everything. You really, I'm always glad to see you, brother. When I see you here in Orlando, I'm like, wow, man. And I'm always glad to see your son. That is
No,
just the
brother, likewise, man. I think
man.
we all bring energy. We are people of energy, and we have in our circle of knowledge, we all bring something, brother. Your knowledge, your circle base is very positive also, and I enjoy that. But listen, let's come back anytime because the vast circle of wellness, there's so many areas we can go into, and we touched on some of them. So let's keep the momentum going and try to
Okay.
feed people information as much as we can because as much as we talked about nutrition, there is the spiritual part of nutrition that we need to understand.
Okay.
Yep.
There is the
Okay.
physical exercise part that we need to understand. We don't
Right.
understand how to exercise. There's also the I should say toxic part of nutrition. We don't know what is
Okay.
toxic and
Right.
what not to eat. We as far as toxins, are we using the right products for our home? Are we using chemicals? Do we have carpet in our home? So there's so many things that covers wellness, brother. I like for us to come back and keep talking because we covered
Okay.
some of the portal of nutrition
Right.
tonight.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not a problem.
that's
I'll
perfect.
I'll I'll set
That's
that up
perfect.
in our, yeah, I'll set that up with King Fawzon, and we'll make it happen. We'll
All
make it
right,
happen.
great.
All right. All right.
All right. Thank you, brother, for having me.
All right. Any King, you got anything to say?
No,
Any last words?
I just wanna thank Phil Washington a lot. He just spoke of his ancestry being from Nigeria. I'm also a Nigerian, and yeah, that's great. And yeah, brother Ajamu, thank you very much for having all of us here. I know that he's gonna come back again, and when he comes
Oh
back,
yeah.
we have more. Yeah, we have more audience listening to that because this is in-depth knowledge that we
Yeah.
want everybody to listen to. And even this
Right.
video right here, we're gonna edit it and put it on our YouTube channel so that those who are not streaming right now, we have the opportunity to watch it. So,
Yeah.
sir, thank you very much for coming. I look forward having
Thank
this
you.
conversation again with you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you. And I'll reach out to you during the week, sir.
All right. Thank you, brother.
King, King
Have a
man.
good
All
day.
right. All right. You
Bye bye now.
too. All right.
Bye bye.
All right. Are you?